I gave my opinion in Aitha and was blocked. Recently, a user shared an experience about how she embarrassed her father's girlfriend after the girlfriend claimed to have prayed throughout the entirety of the user's labor with her baby. The girlfriend then made a remark suggesting that the user's parents should thank Jesus for their beloved baby boy. To provide some context, the user had been quite irritated with her father's girlfriend, who is very religious and frequently discusses her faith in Jesus. According to the user, the girlfriend has become even more zealous since the user became pregnant. The user was not raised in a Christian environment and dislikes it when the girlfriend insists on praying during holiday gatherings. I am certain you can locate the original post and read her account firsthand. I was among the few, probably the only one, who sided with the girlfriend. I posed 20 questions to her. I can be quite straightforward, and I do not always excel in tact, especially when you bring your situation to, "Am I the a-hole?" and become upset when someone disagrees with you. She responded to my inquiries, but at the end, she instructed me not to reply to her again. Unfortunately, I realized too late that she had blocked me after I had composed a lengthy reply. My question is whether I should refrain from participating in, "Am I the a-hole?" because I feel that individuals primarily seek affirmation rather than diverse opinions. Or should I persist in my efforts, hoping that people will appreciate seeing various viewpoints? Below is my reply to her. Some questions may appear confusing since I combine them with just my agreement rather than elaborating. Oh, I will certainly reply. Thank you for your response, no matter the time taken. I also appreciate your thoughtful replies. If I respond, it fosters a dialogue. If I remain silent, it indicates we only care about our own perspectives. I value your viewpoint, which is why I asked those questions instead of merely commenting and moving on. 1. I fully concur with your observations regarding preaching. I resented it during my time as a Christian because there are numerous interpretations of Christian beliefs and denominations. Today, there are over 45,000 denominations globally. Forgive the tangent. 2. After 6 years, it appears peculiar to possess such mixed emotions. At this point, it seems odd that you have not committed to an opinion. It seems you do not spend sufficient time with her to truly understand her, or perhaps you simply do not care. In fact, you mention that you don't care because it does not involve your life. Why do you feel indifferent? This is your father's life, which certainly impacts you, even as an adult. 5. You explicitly stated you did not wish to hear her discuss Jesus. I understand the aversion to being preached at. However, it struck me that you did not express a more generalized dislike, such as not wanting to hear about her religious beliefs or the Bible. It made it sound like Jesus was the primary focus of your discontent. 6. I agree. 7. So, if your colleague said they were praying for you, that would have been acceptable. However, since she fixated on the topic, it became problematic. I understand. 8. I posed that question because it pertains to another religious belief. It ought to have fallen under the same category as my inquiry about whether you would be similarly offended by discussions of other faiths. 9, 10, 12, 14. I agree. Once I learn that someone dislikes something, I make a concerted effort to avoid it in the future. I enjoy hugs from certain individuals, but not from others. However, what led you to discover who disliked hugs? Was it their body language when you approached to hug them? Did they assertively yet politely communicate their feelings? Or did they express, in front of others, that they absolutely do not want any more hugs, perhaps even implying a consequence for doing so? What concerns me most about your post is that you humiliated her. I have no doubt that her feelings were deeply hurt and that she endured significant embarrassment. If you have ever been harshly reprimanded in front of others to the point of silence, you understand the emotional impact. Why would you treat someone else that way? Even if she was being preaky and bothersome, this reflects immaturity in my view. You did not consider how your actions would humiliate and hurt her. It is not as if she condemned you or threatened your soul. She simply prayed for you and then praised God for your baby boy. There was no malice or judgment in her behavior. The most significant figure for Christians is Christ. They believe he redeemed their souls from eternal damnation. He experienced torture, humiliation, and was ultimately killed in front of a crowd. He did so with the understanding that his sacrifice would save the lost. Whether or not you agree with this belief, it is foundational to Christianity. If you wish to comprehend her feelings better, I recommend watching The Passion of the Christ. I suspect you may not truly want to understand, but perhaps I am mistaken, and you will recognize why Christ holds such importance in her life, just as your husband and son are to you. Consider if someone told you never to speak of them again. How would you feel if someone you cherished expressed that to you? Furthermore, she did not pray in your presence, she simply shared it with you. 13. God instructed his followers not to behave like those who publicly pray for recognition. They were advised to retreat to their private prayer space, engaging in an intimate relationship with God. Prayer is about personal connection, not about seeking validation from others. This can happen in your home, church, or necessary locations like a hospital, but should not be a spectacle. 15, 17, 18. This really does not address your frustrations regarding the cross. You could opt to display it for him, or you could convey that it is a gift from her, which holds significance to her, and if he inquires later, you could explain that it meant a lot to her and she wished for him to have it. Your son will encounter various religions throughout his life, and I strongly agree that no one should impose beliefs upon him. However, he should have the opportunity to engage with diverse experiences. Many children enjoy Sunday school and vacation Bible school. He may even desire to attend church with her as he grows older. Yet, he will not know if you do not allow him to join in those experiences with her. 16, 19, 20. You are undeniably using your son as a bargaining chip. You threatened to limit her time with him if she spoke to you about Jesus. One day, in about 25 years, you will likely have a grandchild. As difficult as it may be to believe, you will love that child in a way you cannot fathom right now. Your relationship will be at the mercy of that child's mother. If she decrees that you are cut off, then you will be. If you do not conform to her expectations, she can restrict your access to your grandchild. Yes, he is your child, but she has been with your father for 6 years. She will love him deeply as a grandmother would. Your parents and in-laws will have a distinct relationship with the baby. He is both your child and their grandchild. The mother usually has the final say. I have no doubt you make the ultimate decisions regarding the baby. As mothers, we often believe that because we carried them for 9 months, they belong to us more than anyone else, even their father. And to some extent, this belief holds true. As your son grows, marries, and has his first child, you will likely have an overwhelming love for that child. However, your input may not matter. Your daughter-in-law will determine when and how you get to see that baby. If you annoy her enough, she might publicly embarrass you and threaten your access to the child. I understand why you might assume I am still a Christian, but I no longer subscribe to the church's interpretation of Jesus' teachings. I continue to love Jesus as an extraordinary historical figure who endured tremendous suffering and death. While I may no longer trust the doctrines formulated by men, my affection for Jesus will always remain. Did you post on, "Am I the a hole?" genuinely seeking validation for your actions, or did you primarily want agreement from others? Are those who disagree merely preaching to you? With the exception of addressing your questions about God and prayer, I have not preached about the Bible or tried to engage you on its teachings. The crux of my argument is that you did not make an effort to view the situation from her perspective. I am likely around the same age as she is. My eldest son is now 26. I have lived through the experiences you are facing, and I can foresee how life will unfold at 48. You will transform in countless ways as you age and navigate motherhood. You will undoubtedly achieve many successes, as well as a few mistakes, which you will regret far more than you will celebrate your accomplishments. At 26, while being a mother, I believed every decision I made was correct. I resisted hearing anything negative and was closed off to the perspectives and feelings of others. I was convinced of my righteousness and defensive when others indicated I might not be entirely correct. Having mixed emotions about a person for 6 years is significant. You clearly do not love her, though you may not outright dislike her. You show no inclination to enhance your relationship with her. The immaturity lies in your failure to take her aside privately, where the two of you could engage openly, kindly, and firmly in a discussion about her concerns for your spiritual well-being. You could have expressed that her constant discussions about the Bible were pushing you away. You could have conveyed, "I appreciate your love for us, but this behavior may be detrimental to our relationship, and I find myself dreading our encounters." There were many things you could have communicated. As your father advised, while I understand your frustration, you did not have to treat her in that manner. The immaturity is evident in your reaction, which did not give her an adequate understanding of your perspective on faith. You did not clarify how significant this matter was to you. You might have made a few remarks, but I doubt she realized how firmly you felt about this situation. Remember, you initiated this dialogue by requesting people's opinions. I shared mine, which differs from others, and it would be disingenuous of you to shut down the discussion simply because you dislike my viewpoint. Additionally, I struggle to write concisely when responding to posts, especially when a topic resonates with me as deeply as yours did. I sincerely hope you take the time to consider diverse perspectives from others, not every opinion, but certainly some viewpoints. Thank you for your response, and I hope you choose to engage again. Story 2. Met this guy a few days ago, and he won't stop talking. Then he sent me this insane message. I encountered this individual a few days back, and although we have only conversed a few times, he simply does not stop talking. He continually interrupts me, prevents me from speaking, and embarks on lengthy rants about assorted topics. Earlier, I attempted to persuade him to slow down and allow me to talk, but he kept cutting me off. Ultimately, I fell completely silent for about 10 minutes, yet he still continued speaking as if I were responding. He was recounting details about his ex, making bizarre assumptions, and just rambling on. After our call concluded, he sent me an extensive message, which is honestly one of the oddest communications I have ever received. Some of his claims are not even accurate, and I am unsure how he arrived at certain conclusions. It comes across as guilt-tripping, love-bombing, and manipulation all at once. Additionally, the mention of involving the police is utterly outrageous. I wanted to share this here to gather some opinions. What do you all think about this? How would you even react to something like this? Okay, Josh, I genuinely attempted to engage in a meaningful conversation with you tonight. We often have authentic discussions. This is not the first time we have addressed the topic of you getting back into your fitness routine and looking good again, especially since you told me that I wouldn't understand your age just because you have muscles. Well, I have a much better chance of being intimate with someone if I'm fit. However, none of this addresses your current behavior. Why can't we just put on some adult films? I need to relieve myself. I've mentioned this before, and I don't understand why you're just sitting there silently, seething with anger over what I've said. Maybe I'm a bad person or too honest. I perceive that many people can't handle the truth, good, bad, or otherwise. You will always hear the truth from me because I care. I've reiterated this numerous times, and it pains me to see you dislike yourself. I believe you are the most beautiful person in the world, which may sound effeminate, but I just care for you. If you were homosexual, I would consider dating you, but since you are not, I want to help you find a partner or whatever you prefer. You are misinterpreting my intentions. You haven't taken your medication in a week. This is your pattern. You use people, drain them of any feelings or emotions, and then tell them they are insane. They don't know anything, just as you did to me. Well, thank you for those insights about myself. I already know who I am. I simply don't grasp why you are being so unkind to me today. Why aren't you downstairs making breakfast? Why aren't you enjoying yourself in the kitchen? It's perfectly acceptable for someone to be concerned about another person they don't know well. I think this is because you're unaware of what that relationship or friendship could develop into. You seemed eager to talk to me tonight, yet you said nothing. You criticized me, labeling me as a crazed individual obsessed with you. If you genuinely believe I am obsessed with you, then please don't converse with me again, because I know that isn't true. I met you on Reddit, and I mentioned that you are a different person than the one I encountered 6 days ago, but you can't seem to relax. Perhaps it's due to lack of medication. I'm unsure, but I would like to understand. It's not a negative trait that someone in this immense world filled with billions of people wants to know who Josh is. I don't even know your last name, which is quite sad. Honestly, I find it sad that you hung up on me, believing I was attempting to gain something from you. You think everyone at your age wants something from you. I am 40 years old, and I have my own interests. I do not require anything from others. Belongings can be replaced. Everything in life can be substituted except for you and me. With that said, I'll conclude this lengthy message. I appreciate everything you have expressed and done, yet I am saddened that you are at a point where you feel you cannot communicate with me anymore. I never anticipated this. I thought we would become close friends. I was genuinely excited at the prospect of having a friend in Europe who I could visit, but evidently, I've wasted my time. Thank you for revealing yet another truth about life. I hope you read this eventually and feel remorseful. I truly hope you feel very regretful because I feel quite down at the moment. I wish I could fall asleep with you tonight. I know that sounds unusual, but I love having you on my screen next to me when I awaken. Maybe you're correct, there might be something wrong with me. However, I genuinely believe I am trying my hardest to be a sober individual and to assist you because I care about you more than I have cared for anyone in a long while. I may not know you well, but from what I've seen, you are remarkable. After this long message without a return call, I feel compelled to contact the Manchester police to provide them with your phone number. I understand you may never forgive me for that, and I wouldn't expect you to. I would struggle to forgive someone for involving the police with me. But if I had your mother's contact information, I would reach out to her because you are not okay right now. If only you would engage with me, perhaps we could improve this situation, but since you refuse to communicate, I feel I have no choice but to provide your contact information to the police. Ignoring my messages would be the worst thing you could do. Please do not disregard me. Everyone makes mistakes, Josh. You are only 22 years old, and I don't expect you to have everything figured out. However, I do expect you to discern right from wrong, and it seems you have lost that perspective. You are sinking into something I cannot guide you out of. I wish I could call your mother, but I am compelled to contact the police because you won't provide me with her number. I'll attempt to locate it before I contact them, but if you don't call me back, I will seek your mother out through social media. If the Manchester police arrive at your residence, it is solely because I care for you. I shouldn't have become emotionally attached. I recognize you don't prefer men, and I've understood that all along. I just desire to be your friend. I need a friend just as much as you do. I hope that the authorities will take you to a place where you can receive help, and I believe you will be okay. This isn't meant to harm you. You deserve none of this suffering, yet you refuse to read my messages, which forces me to reach out to your mother first, and I will proceed from there. I care for you deeply, Josh. I believe you are an amazing individual. I genuinely love you, even though it may sound foolish. When you feel alone and encounter someone just as lonely as you, I refuse to permit you to self-destruct. I want to witness you getting married and experiencing happiness. I desire all good things for you, but perhaps that sounds manic. Everything I've said may seem irrational. Good night, Josh, and take care of yourself.